Good evening. You're watching the explosive weekend debate right here on CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. On the show tonight, we're taking a look at dramatic developments taking place right here in Delhi. Yesterday, you had the Telangana leader, K Kavitha. She was sent to the Enforcement Directorate's custody. It was in 2022 that BJP leaders first accused the leader. She is the daughter of the former Chief Minister KCR of being involved in the same story that as we speak has also engulfed the Aam Aadmi Party. The allegation was, and this is an allegation that we've been hearing since back in 2022, that she and her associates paid 100 crores to the Aam Aadmi Party leaders in return for liquor licenses in Delhi. Now, back in 2022, the opposition had claimed that this was the BJP trying to make inroads into the state of Telangana at a crucial time. They also said that this was once again the country's investigative agencies being used by the BJP to do their bidding. Tonight, as we speak, we are a few weeks away from the general elections, and we're going to look to understand how all of these developments connect to the larger general elections, not just in the Telangana context, but the national context. And a further question, is this just one more pillar in the opposition's anti-investigative agency pitch, where they say that again and again the data supports that investigative agencies are being misused? We'll introduce the guests to you in just a second. Take a look first at what we have for you tonight.
Do you want to say something? Do you want to say something? Illegal arrest. It's a fabricated case.
हमारा BRS पार्टी को बीजेपी वो ख़त्म करना बोल के, नहीं तो KCR का ऊपर गुस्सा रह के कविता को अरेस्ट करें।
हमने पैसे का लेन देन तो किया था, पर ईडी को हमें पूछना नहीं चाहिए। 400 करोड़ 378 करोड़ की मनी ट्रेल तो मिली है, लेकिन ईडी को अरेस्ट नहीं करना चाहिए। ये नकली है। जब शराब घोटाला करोगे, पैसे खाओगे, तो भाई जेल भी जाना पड़ेगा।
Okay, let's introduce you to the guests we have with us tonight to understand this story further. We have NV Subhash Rao, a spokesperson for the Telangana BJP. We have Krishank Mane, a spokesperson for the BRS. And we have Siddharth Sharma, a spokesperson from the Aam Aadmi Party. So we have two spokespeople joining us from Telangana itself, and we have one spokesperson joining us from right here in Delhi. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here on the show. Gentlemen, I'm going to come to each of you with a question. I'm going to ask you not to engage with each other, to engage with me. I'll ask you the questions. We'll go over first to the BRS. We'll go over to Mr. Mane to understand more. Mr. Mane, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Mr. Mane, let me just very quickly tell our audiences what the allegation against K Kavitha is. The allegation is that she paid bribes to exploit loopholes in the excise policy. The hope had been for her, allegedly, that she would then secure, through that, uninhibited access to various wholesale businesses, to retail zones. Now, sir, the question I want to ask you very pointedly. Yesterday, the special judge, M.K. Nagpal, observed that the accused, and when I say to the accused, let me tell our audiences, I'm referring to K Kavitha. So yesterday he said that K Kavitha's involvement in the alleged offence and her role are evident from the records. He also said that there was a need for custodial interrogation because the investigation has been stalled because of her lack of cooperation. Let me just first, sir, formally get a response from you on that, because we know that so far K Kavitha has maintained her innocence. She said, I have nothing to do with any of this. Here you have the court saying that there are statements from various co-accused who have turned approvers, and they've even found that a major portion of the kickbacks was contributed after meetings with K Kavitha. So what does the BRS have to say about this?
Well, Toya ji, number one, let me tell you, like you've mentioned, that the accused in this have turned approvers. Now, what kind of coercion it could be, what kind of fear it could be, because in fact, let me also tell you that one or two accused in this case have also taken back their statements couple of times. They have gone to the court to know that this is not the statement. So why shouldn't we think that this is a pressure by the ED, but and at the end of the day, it is for the court again, which should see the evidence and then judge the facts of this case. Why I'm saying this is one of the accused yesterday has joined the Bharatiya Janata Party's alliance partner, Telugu Desam Party. Now, why we call it political is now if Bharatiya Janata Party, which is so adamant about it, they call it a scam, they call it a case, and they are advocating in on behalf of the ED, then how can they take a politician who is accused in this, who is named in this, and mind you, with the report which has come, the whole narration in this ED's report is between that the person who has joined Bharatiya Janata Party's alliance partner, Mr. Magunta, that he has had a conversation with Kavitha ji and this entire kickbacks and whatever the allegations are, because ED has not called her accused. The terminology which they've used is kingpin. It is for the court which has to decide, not the ED. But nevertheless, what we feel is there is a political angle to this. If an accused in this can join in Telugu Desam Party, which is contesting with Bharatiya Janata Party in the Lok Sabha Parliament elections, isn't this that the typical washing powder Nirma Act?
Okay, so sir, the allegation.
Because one more thing, Toyaji,
let me just tell you.
10 more seconds.
Let me just tell you. No, don't worry. That's what I wanted to tell you and the other spokespeople that are with us. We have enough time today. Not only will I come to you once, I'll come to you multiple times in the debate. So don't worry in that sense. But let me just quickly ask you a counter question here. Because you started out, and I do want to promise you the larger allegation you've made that look, this is the ED, even the CBI, as other parties have said, that are being used by the BJP. We'll take that to the BJP in a second. I promise you that. But let me just come back to you with some follow-up questions, sir. This is a case where her own ex-chartered accountant, so K Kavitha's own chartered accountant, has turned an approver. Are you saying, sir, that she was also pressured?
Well, number one, approver's evidence is not a reliable evidence. This is what CRPC also says. There could be a lot of pressure because they haven't, spoken out outside yet. It's what being told by the ED. Why I'm saying this is that there's definitely a political angle. Again, we'll come to that because Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in the assembly elections spoke about this case, campaigned about this case in his election speeches. Now, unless and until proven guilty, anyone is an accused. But, Bharatiya Janata Party has given name calling. They've called her a liquor queen even before it is proven. And now this happens again right when the parliament elections are on.
Right. And sir, just to get your comment then, and after this I'll come to each of our other panelists, but I just want to finish first, sir, by asking you this, where the special judge in this case has yesterday said that her role is evident from the records. What do you have to say to that, sir? So and I ask you that because you said that statements from co-accused can be pressured. But when the judge himself is saying that records make it clear that there was a role, so what do you have to say to that?
Well, those are remarks. Again, the evidence has to be shown because I'll again show you Sanjay Raut's case. In Sanjay Raut's case, 75 days he was in prison, Toyaji. But in the last judgment, when he got the bail, what did the Honorable Justice point out at? That the ED failed in producing an evidence. Not a single evidence was given, and Sanjay Raut ji got his bail and he was free outside. So the point is, now they are saying there are conversations of WhatsApp. In fact, if you remember, ED also mentioned earlier, a con man who's sitting in a jail, Mr. Sukesh Chandrasekhar, also is involved in this. Surprisingly, he writes letters when he is in jail. We don't know how does he get papers, because I've been in prison too during the Telangana agitation. If you need to get a paper or a pen, it happens only if the jailer or the superintendent allows it. So now these, because that time they released WhatsApp conversations too.
Right.
Now we don't see any mentions of that in this report.
Okay.
So was that cooked up? Was that washed up?
Sir, very key question. Let's go over now to the BJP. Let's ask them all of these questions, okay? Let's go over to the BJP. We have N. Subhasakar Rao, who's with us right now. Sir, thank you for joining us this evening. Sir, let me ask you, and this question is to the BJP. Sir, the allegation that this is politically timed is something we've heard the BRS say multiple times. And they pointed to, sir, right from 2022, when this allegation first surfaced. In that sense, the BRS has been consistent that, look, the timing of this is too obvious. Sir, critics also question and experts also question the fact that this arrest could have taken place earlier, when the assembly elections took place. Was the BJP worried that a sympathy vote would maybe work in K Kavitha's favour? That's why the arrest didn't happen. So I ask you all of this because the political question, how all of this could play out, the fact that this is happening right now, just a few weeks before elections, when the BJP is so keen on making a dent in the south, something they've not managed to do so far. So the timing comes into question. Mr. Rao, can you hear us? Okay, I don't think the BJP can actually hear us. We'll try to make our connection with them stable. We'll try to reconnect with them. And until we're able to, I'll actually go over to the Aam Aadmi Party. And I'm very, very grateful, in fact, that we have the Aam Aadmi Party here with us today. Because, sir, let me just tell our audiences, Arvind Kejriwal, today, the 9th summons being sent to the Chief Minister. And I'm happy that we have two voices right now so that we can speak to the larger question that the opposition keeps bringing up, which is that the CBI, the ED, this is something we've even heard from the TMC in the last few weeks, where they've said that the CBI, the ED are again and again being used to target us. So that's something we hear again and again. And in today's case, we heard what Atishi had to say. Atishi, let me just tell our audiences who may or may not be aware, is a very senior leader in the Aam Aadmi Party. When Arvind Kejriwal received his 9th summons today, Atishi addressed the media, Atishi addressed the crowd, and she said the manner in which this is happening in itself, two back-to-back calls that you're receiving from the ED within 1 week, that in itself is harassment. So just speak to that point, then we'll go to the BJP.
Yeah. So yeah, it's always a pleasure to be on your program. Now let us be one thing, let it be clear. We are an educated lot here, and I think CNN News 18 viewers are also educated. If somebody not getting bail makes him an accused or a culprit, then in this nation, stalwarts like Atal Bihari Vajpayee, LK Advani, Bhagat Singh, all these people were also in jail in this nation without bail. That does not make them convicts. So there is a process, there is a judicial process. So unless a trial happens in any case, one cannot assume anybody guilty or either innocent. It's as simple as that. Point number 2, the PMLA Act, which is a very stringent act that was made due to the global consensus on money laundering, especially to stop terrorism. That's why there is a body called FATF, Financial Action Task Force. I think you know that. The viewers might not have known that. That's why I'm saying. And that mandates that money laundering is a very key element for terrorism, and that is why money laundering has to be taken up very seriously. That is the reason why PMLA Act was amended, and it was made that bails were made very difficult, and I think it is rightly so. The question here is that in the Delhi excise policy issue, there is no terrorism angle involved, neither by the ED, even the ED or the BJP is not saying so. That basically makes it very clear that the money laundering charge here on any policy is a sham, because you can prosecute anyone under Prevention of Corruption Act. You can prosecute somebody under CBI. You can prosecute under anyone, even under a 420 in a police station. You can go and charge a fraud case. I think the US Justice Department just yesterday has started some kind of fraud investigation on Adani and Mr. Gautam Adani. You can do a fraud investigation through a police force also. So that makes it very clear that this is witch hunt. Point number 2, this story of Aam Aadmi Party and the entire story of excise scam. This is a story of a Vishwaguru becoming a Vasuli Guru for BJP. Excise scam has basically boomeranged on BJP via the electoral bonds. How has it boomeranged? I think CNN News 18 is a very reputed news media channel. It could not expose any scam in the Delhi government's governance in the last 10 years. The judiciary is yet to give a verdict on any kind of malgovernance by Aam Aadmi Party's Delhi government in the last 10 years. Even the CAG has not found a scam anywhere in Delhi government. Not a single penny has been recovered in this so-called excise scam. While at the same time, BJP's New Delhi candidate is a lawyer and her client is a money launderer, cooling his heels, enjoying high life in London.
So I'll just ask you,
come back again.
and I'm not going to stop you, but I do want to ask you, can you just connect it to electoral, because you brought up electoral bonds, I'm not seeing the connection. Make your point, because we do want to go over to the BJP, sir.
Yeah, the point here is very simple. Entire case is built on statement of accused turned approvers, correct? Turns out one approver got a MP ticket from Andhra Pradesh yesterday. Another approver donated crores in electoral bonds to BJP. So why is BJP going hammer and tongs against Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal? The simple reason is PMLA Act says that those receiving proceeds of the crime should also be prosecuted. Now, since BJP has received proceeds of the crime, is it ready? Is the Modi Sarkar ready to prosecute BJP? That is the question Aam Aadmi Party has asked. That has made BJP very difficult. That is why they are trying to harass Aam Aadmi Party and other people also. In this case, as far as K Kavitha is concerned, they are trying to make somebody an accused and trying to make them an approver and then catch other people. That is as simple as that.
Sure, Mr. Sharma, I'll come to you with a counter question here. It's not a counter question as much as a follow-up question, really. I'll come to you with a follow-up question, then we'll go over to the BJP. We are having some trouble, and I do want to tell our audiences this, we are having some trouble actually establishing our connection with the BJP. So they came, they went, we'll try to establish that connection all over again. So we were listening to you. So I do want to ask you, and this is actually a question I'll even take to the BRS.
Is that question to me or the BRS?
No, sir. First it's to you, then I'll go to the BRS. But it's going to be the same question. So the numbers and the data that I do want to bring up with the BJP when they do join us is the data that there is since 2014 that shows a fourfold jump in ED cases against politicians. And if you just take a look at who those politicians are, 95% of them are from the opposition. So that data does support what it is that you are saying and what the BRS, for example, is also saying. But sir, I do want to ask you, and then this is where I want you to come in, sir. In skipping a summons, what is the Aam Aadmi Party hoping to prove? Just tell our audiences that.
Aam Aadmi Party is it's not hoping to prove, it is proving conclusively that the canard that BJP has spread, that the ED and the investigative agencies are above law, is wrong. That is why what happened yesterday was, when Arvind Kejriwal presented himself before the court, before that, everyone, including the media channels and especially BJP, were saying that Arvind Kejriwal is escaping the courts. Yesterday, Arvind Kejriwal presented himself before the court. The court, if it had found worthy, it could have asked Arvind Kejriwal to answer to the ED's questions. Rather, it said that I will listen to your merits of the case. Why? Because all the summons that have been sent by the ED are illegal in law. And that is exactly what Arvind Kejriwal has highlighted. And that is now become sub judice. The court will now listen to the merits of the case. Exactly what the message Aam Aadmi Party wanted to give was, in the last 5-6 years, the Modi government has kind of created an impression that it is a super government, it is above judiciary,
so I'm so sorry to stop you for a
cannot.
second. I'm not stopping you. I just want to go very quickly to the BJP because we've established that connection with them. Mr. Rao, sir, it's been difficult to get a connection with you that has been stable. Sir, I just want to ask you. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm in a remote place and I'm just attending the Prime Minister's program. I'm sorry for the technical problem, but let me tell you something which is very, very clear and evident that the Bharatiya Janata Party, Narendra Modi's government, and the investigations agencies are completely different. It has nothing to do with the party or with the government or something. This case has been there from past 2 years, which just happened in Delhi, and then after substantial evidence where investigations which are elite, they have Ms. Kavitha's name in that, and then many of the people who are associates of her. This is
Mr.
very, very important point.
Mr. Rao, one second. I want to stop you for a second. We've had multiple conversations about Enforcement Directorate investigations over the last few months. This is something the BJP always says, sir, frankly. It's the standard line, and it is this line that we have nothing to do with ED investigations, CBI investigations. These are separate investigations. We're a political party. I understand that, sir. But I do want to ask you, and this is the data we were discussing right now. Since 2014, a fourfold jump in ED cases against politicians, 95% of those are opposition leaders. So 95% of those are leaders who aren't in the BJP are opposition leaders. Can the BJP, sir, with data like that, still claim that this isn't vendetta politics?
How can it be? Because from past 10 years, when Modi ji has become the Prime Minister of this country, he was very clear that that the transparency and accountability is the first priority, and then there should not be any kind of loss to the national exchequer. And the way that opposition parties have looted this country, this is the standard example. And
sir, but you're not being specific, sir. You're speaking in broad generics, sir.
No. Exactly. Let me tell you how much money has been recovered. It's almost like 150 crores. Just 150 crores have been recovered from this the scams. What I'm telling is, why the BRS and Aam Aadmi Party are always linking about why are they making it the politicized? Because it's very clear that the KCR family, they were ordinary people as far as the financial status is concerned, from rags to riches in just 10 years. Whatever you take in Telangana, whichever department you take, whichever organization you take, they have looted this the state. And
Toyaji, this is generic and name calling.
It is a benefit of doubt. I'll just tell you, I give them just examples. Medical field, education field, construction field, irrigation field,
so
agriculture field.
You're naming fields right now, sir. Even earlier, when the amount you stated right now was 100 crores. So where are we getting? Because I do want our audiences, if this is a point we're going to make, that the BRS has driven the state of Telangana to corruption. So give us the data, tell us what you mean. We'll then come to you with further questions.
Exactly, I'm telling. If you just take about the Kaleshwaram project, before they have started, the project have really just they started, the way they have used the material, it is just sinking.
Okay.
And National Dam Subsidy Authority has also come, and then they've just given just information about that. And if you take about education policy also, the first family of the KCR are just involved in that.
Okay.
21 people, the students have lost their life.
Okay.
If you just allow me for another 2 minutes.
No, Mr. Rao, Mr. Rao, stay with us. I want to take that question then over to the BRS. To the BRS, the Kaleshwaram project is actually a project we've heard a few people bring up. Sir, BRS did go out of power. And when we did talk about why that may have happened, citizens' fears of corruption and need for a change, these were some of the things we heard, sir. Do you want to respond to that?
Toyaji.
Go ahead.
Is the question to me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Toyaji, is the Rose Avenue court investigating on the Kaleshwaram project, or has ED summoned Kavitha ji on Kaleshwaram project? If so, I think they should give notices to KCR ji. They're in a mistake. I mean, will Bharatiya Janata Party or ED defend their case like this in the court? Let me take you, Toyaji. I mean, if you are the judge today holding this debate, you've asked about straight questions about the conviction rate of the ED, number 1. Number 2, you've asked the evidence here. Number 3, they're talking about so and so of hundreds of crores or lakhs of crores. Where are the 100 crores? The whole PMLA Act says the ED has to prove, then there has to be a money trail. Where are the kickbacks? 100 crores. Are they in any bank accounts? Have they recovered it? How much have they recovered the amount? So these questions are not answered, and that is why they are running around bushes by saying Kaleshwaram, KCR's family, Kalvakutla family. You get the bottom line, Toyaji. What they want is votes or surrender.
Let me just ask. So one second. I'm so sorry, sir. I want to go over for closing words to Siddharth Sharma.
You wanted one question to be answered.
One second. Let me just ask. Sir, please let me go ahead, sir. Mr. Sharma, I want to ask you a closing question.
You wanted me to answer one question, but you interrupted.
Because we have a minute left, and as we speak, we are wasting more of that time, and I don't want to do that. Siddharth Sharma, sir, I want to. All right, I'm going to ask for your volumes to be turned down. Siddharth Sharma, I need to come to you for a final question. So this is going to be an infuriating question, but I do want to ask you this. Over the last few years, sir, we've seen opposition leaders, we've seen, for example, Arvind Kejriwal, as we've talked about today, 9th summons. So we've seen the Chief Minister of Delhi see summon after summon, and we've seen the opposition say that their leaders are getting targeted. Sir, I want to ask you a trickier question though, sir. Do you think that perhaps this messaging isn't connecting to the ground, sir? Because if this had to connect to the ground and if it had to result in votes, it would have done so in 2019 itself.
Yeah, I'll give that answer in 10 seconds later, but since the time is short, it's always been a pleasure to be with Toya, who doesn't encourage shrill on her programs. Rather, you encourage logic and you ask me tricky questions, and that is fair enough. The point is, when these kind of summons started coming to Aam Aadmi Party's national convener Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi went to 25 lakh houses in a door-to-door campaign and asked people that these are the summons. What should I be doing? Should I be resigning or should I continue to serve you? And overwhelmingly, 95% of the Delhiites said that we have chosen you to serve us, and this is a political vendetta. Please keep serving us. You don't need to go to jail. It's as simple as you don't need to resign. So Aam Aadmi Party, because we come from a stock where we are a little bit educated, we do our politics differently. I understand that there is an optics to it. I understand that we have to take people's opinions around, but the people's opinion doesn't mean opinion of a studio. People's opinion really means opinion of the people
Fair.
of Delhi.
So
and
are
that
you
is what
saying,
Aam
sir,
Aadmi Party did,
are you
and
saying,
that is what overwhelmingly said.
Okay, so you're saying the people of Delhi said don't turn up for the summons. Is that accurate? Is that essentially what you're saying?
People of Delhi said that Arvind Kejriwal need not resign, because that would have been the next logical question.
Okay.
That once you get arrested or you go to summons, because what happens in ED
Okay,
summons
so no,
is that
I got your
you
point.
call me
Let me just go for closing points now to the BJP, and then the BRS, I'll come over to you. To the BJP, Mr. Rao, please keep your comment limited to 1 minute. Opposition party is saying that voices on the ground are telling them don't resign,
Exactly.
stay strong. Go ahead, sir. Mr. Rao, can you hear me?
Exactly. See, the situation in the Telangana is the situation in the Telangana is completely different, and we don't have to do any of the political equations because the Bharatiya Janata Party is going to win here. That's from past 2 years. Has to come. She said she is a law-abiding citizen. She will cooperate with the Enforcement Directorate. And the day the summons are being
the BJP
given,
barely made a dent in the last Lok Sabha election, so how are you so confident?
Yeah, I'm 100% confident because people are just leaving the BRS party. There are no takers. They don't want to contest the parliament elections also.
Okay.
And see, if we are really serious, that if we get some votes from if we arrest the Kavitha, we would have done it just before the assembly elections in 2023.
Okay.
We would have got more seats.
To the BRS,
you
to
promised me
BRS, sir.
time.
Yep. Last 1 minute to you, sir.
But we did not do it. If it is under our control. So
Mr. Rao, we'd like to give the BJP, we'd like to give the BRS time now. Sir, do go ahead.
The Enforcement Directorate has a protocol to follow.
You heard them very clearly.
Okay.
This man is just making noise. Toyaji, you've heard them clearly. They have no specifics about the case. That is why they're talking about BRS or BRS's political career. They have taken 70% of our sitting MPs and MLAs have announced candidates for parliament, and they say there are no takers. Anyways, I'll not go into that. Let me complete with the summons. Kavitha ji answered questions when CBI came here. Kavitha ji went when ED gave us notices. Then they said there are no mobile phones. Mobile phones have been damaged. Then she handed over all the mobile phones. She showed it, flashed it to the media too. But at the same time, Toyaji, we have constitutional provisions. Kavitha ji is also a citizen of India. While she was facing ED and CBI, she went to the court. She approached to the Honorable Supreme Court and said, look, they are, they are harassing this entire issue, and we've gone to the court. I mean, if we had to run away from this issue, we would have gone to the Bharatiya Janata Party office. We didn't do that. We've taken this issue to the court, and court will look into the case. When there was adjournment going on, when there was a court,
but sir, when the court itself is saying, sir, that there is more to take a deeper dive into, that this is worthy of investigating, sir, I'm not hearing you acknowledge that in your answer even now. Okay, Mr. Mane, Mr. Rao.
Toyaji, two things.
No, sir, we've run out of time. But I would like to thank all of you for joining us this evening on the show. I'm so sorry. We did run out of time. We weren't able to speak to each of our panelists properly for the right amount of time. But for now, this is the perspective we're able to bring you. This is the Weekend Explosive Debate.